Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you're at Mr. Kirk's first note video of the 2020-2021 school year. And today we're going to be talking about citizenship in the United States. I want you to write down everything that's highlighted, and then anything else is up to you. But all of it's important. So today we're looking at SOL 3A. How does an individual become a U.S. citizen? So please write SOL 3A. How does an individual become a citizen? Let's get started. So we're going to start with a definition. What is a citizen? I wonder. A citizen is an individual with certain rights and duties under a government. I want to go over a couple of these words first. Rights mean freedoms. Like in America, we have a freedom to be able to vote and elect our leaders. You have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the right to a trial by jury. I could keep on going on, but there's tons of them. A lot of this actually falls under the Bill of Rights, and it's one of the big reasons that immigrants come over and want to stay in America. The second thing are called duties. Duties include things like showing up for jury duty if you're summoned to court, paying your taxes, following the law. If we don't perform things like that, we can actually get in trouble. But if you become a citizen, you have rights and duties under the American government. So a citizen is an individual with rights and duties under a government. Now, there are two ways. I repeat, two ways. Two ways a person can become a citizen in America. Number one is called by birth. You're born in America, you're automatically a citizen. The second one is choice, and we're going to call that naturalization. But we'll talk about that more in the next slide. Now, all citizens will owe allegiance to that government. Okay? That moves us on to the next slide. Who can become a U.S. citizen? You're going to have to identify 1, 2, 3 things. First, you must be 18 years old. 2, you must also have been a resident of America for 5 years total or more. And then you must enter America legally, meaning you have a green card or a work visa. So as long as you're 18 or older, as long as you've lived in America for more than 5 years and you have a green card, you would be allowed to apply for citizenship. But it's a process, and we're going to talk about it with the next slide. So let's go over it one more time. You must be 18, must be a resident of the United States for 5 or more years, and you must enter legally. By the way, this picture over to the right is a naturalization ceremony where different immigrants are naturalizing and becoming an American citizen. They're holding their hand up because they're taking the oath of citizenship, where they pledge allegiance to the United States. So, again, we're going to review this process of how to become a citizen. First, you can do this by birth. So the 14th Amendment to our Constitution defines citizenship in America. The 14th Amendment was passed after the Civil War. It was basically made to make sure that former enslaved African Americans could legally be citizens and not have any rights taken away. The 14th Amendment reads like this: all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the U.S. and the state where they reside. The second way a person can become a citizen is by naturalization. Naturalization is an application and process. During this application and process, they have to submit an application, they have to have a criminal background check, and they have to take what's called a naturalization test. So on this test, a person must demonstrate knowledge of American history, principles of the Constitution, which is also known as government or civics. This test is in English, so you must also have the ability to read, speak, and write words in the English language. So the final thing I wanted to talk about is increased immigration and naturalization. Those two things led to an increasingly diverse society. We have people who are from all over the world, just about everywhere in America. The final thing is, after all this is over, they must take a citizenship oath. So the final thing I want you to know, and let me move my screen a little bit, is naturalized citizens have the exact same rights as Americans but they cannot be president or vice president. So if you were born in another country, you had to become a naturalized citizen, you're not allowed to run for president or vice president. That concludes our notes, but I had one more thing I would like to show you. It's in this naturalization process PowerPoint. What I want you to do is tell me if these examples are citizens by birth or by naturalization. Arnold Schwarzenegger had to learn U.S. history and U.S. government before he became a U.S. citizen. Is that birth or naturalization? That one would be naturalization because he was not born in America. And he had to take a test. Number 2, Albert Einstein had to learn to read and write English in order to pass his test. Is that birth or naturalization? Answer, naturalization. Number 3, Mr. Peanut, this yellow guy here, he was born in Georgia. Would that be birth or naturalization? Of course it's birth. It says born in Georgia. Mr. Peanut is a born American who was born here in the country. Sammy Sosa, a Major League Baseball player for the Rangers, became a citizen or applies for citizenship. Would that be birth or naturalization? That one's naturalization because he applies. The final one. Homer Simpson was born on a plane over the Atlantic Ocean to at least one parent who was a U.S. citizen. Is that birth or naturalization? That would be birth because at least one parent is a U.S. citizen. That concludes our notes and examples over SOL 3A citizenship, and I'll see you next time for Notes with Mr. Kirk. See you guys.